Welcome to our viewer. We've had some interest in our vision for the way of speeding up the video production. So Mick, you mentioned in the last video that you had an idea how we could streamline the process. So what are you aiming for?
One word: consistency.
Of what?
Well, characters is the obvious one, and we are starting to see vast improvements in this.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Of course, but we still have a way to go until the scenery is consistent.
Okay. So you're talking Unreal Engine levels of detail and interaction.
Indeed, and in our virtual studio setup, and I stress this is for us, as not everyone works in the same way.
Thank goodness.
Yes, and as in most of life, there are many ways to produce a finished product. Well, a video in this case.
So there's not just one right way? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. You will still use prompts for the V-roll clips and go into the virtual studio when you want to have a more controllable or refined shot.
And what would you like to see?
Okay, well, that's the easy part. So we have 4 main sections all brought together under one umbrella. First is input. Second, a 3D virtual studio. Third is a timeline. And finally, rendering.
Right, let's start with the input.
Input, easy. We start with an image. Could be your own, or one generated with our preferred option, OpenArt, as it lets you bring separate elements together in one image and has a consistent characters feature.
That's it.
That's the beginning. Let's use Vinci Resolve as a reference, as many creators will already be familiar with the way they enable you to work on separate parts of a project, but on a single timeline.
Sounds intriguing. So how do you see it working?
You having an AI plugin for Vinci Resolve.
Like a paid prescription option?
Correct. And in there you have all the workflows in one place.
I'm thinking of an OpenArt Creation tab.
Yes, you can build your own characters, props, venues, but for now I'm just setting out an outline of what we could do. The how we would do it is for another video.
Understood. So this is where we collect the reference material. And number 2 is the 3D virtual studio.
This is where the magic happens. In this part, the reference material is transposed and extrapolated into a 3-dimensional space.
So you can go from a 2D image and into a 3D studio like in Unreal Engine.
Spot on. Anyone who's looked into using Unreal Engine will know the most time-consuming part is building the set.
Well, that does sound more straightforward, if it's possible.
I'm sure the viewer is aware that this is already achievable, although still in the early stages.
Okay, number 3, the timeline.
This is where the Vinci Resolve element comes in.
Okay, in what way? And can you give me an example?
Sure, I'll use our studio's reception as an example. Imagine it as a 3D room on a timeline. All fittings and fixtures are already there, brought in from the 2D image.
What other information is included?
Good question. Things like light sources are included. Enabling lighting adjustments would be just one of many interactable items. Camera, weather, era, mood are just a few of the others.
But now you want the receptionist to enter from a studio door and sit at the desk. At the same time we arrive while having a conversation and then interact with the receptionist. Who calls the boss to come in and join them? Well, that sounds like a straightforward prompt.
Oh, if you have just one scene to do, for sure, prompt away.
So, what's the advantage of a 3D timeline?
For me, it would be the ability to reuse the same room again and everything stays consistent. Plus, you have far more control on when and where specific events occur, and you're able to introduce new things. And as the scene is repeatable, so it can be shot from different camera angles with the same continuity of scene.
Oh, like in a real video shoot, each character's been to costume and makeup. They know their lines and when to say them and their own particular role in the scene.
You've got it. Each character will move and talk and interact with the other characters at specific places and time. You can even have extras in the background.
Supporting actors, actually.
Indeed, that will be added when needed, but with no interaction.
Unless requested.
Of course, and Alf can go into more details of all the possibilities in a future video, as there are so many different ways to interact with the set. So for the moment, we'll go into what and not the hows it would be done.
So this is just one room, though?
Not quite. Try and conjure up an image of a doll's house in your mind, where each room is a different set, but you can see them through open doors, windows, and even move between them.
And all this is achieved from a selection of 2D images.
A very basic scene, yes, but we anticipate that if you plan to use specific sets and characters on a longer project,
like if we wanted to produce a film or even a soap opera about a troupe of out-of-work AI actors, working on different sets in the virtual studio, and we needed continuity in the sets and individual characters, their look, voice, personality, gestures, traits, even their wardrobe would be assigned to each particular character.
That's a good idea. Let me write that down.
yes, then longer timelines can be achieved when necessary.
Got it. So on to number 4, rendering.
Ideally, rendering would be done on the End Render tab using a video generator tool. There are plenty out there.
Generators like OpenArt, who offer different models of generators, so would feel like a good fit to us.
So imagine all these different models brought together under one AI virtual studio roof with a single low-cost subscription.
So where do I sign up?
Oh, and it goes without saying that in the future, if you want an action film with Jason Statham riding a penny farthing in the Victorian era, where he plays a fixer, then prompt it and you get it.
But for us personally, it's more the creative process we're interested in.
Well, that paints a compelling picture, Mick. And it sounds like a significant step towards a more streamlined and consistent video production process. Thanks for walking us through your vision.
You're welcome, and we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, Spot, just check the studio for any contraband and we're done for the day.